Wow, this is always such a great question. How do we meet? You want to tell your story or my story?
I'm going to tell my side because we had two different perspectives.
Okay.
So she was working at Apple at the time. I walked in looking scrumptious. I was like, my phone was like messed up or whatever. So her friend Megan was like helping me with my phone and everything. She comes over and she tries to talk to me or whatever. Now here's the part where she thinks like, oh, I was trying to hint.
Like 12 a.m.
I was trying to hint at her or whatever.
12 a.m. The Apple store still open?
Yeah, because I used to work at the overnight one.
Right.
So when I was working at the overnight one, now I'm gonna cut you off. When I was working at the overnight one, I was tired. At that time, I was working 2 jobs. So I was working at Starbucks in the daytime, Apple at night. I was dead tired. And she walked in, backing up her phone. Her phone messed up or whatever. And I just wanted to say hi to my coworkers. I ain't seen her in a long time. But, she called my house. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me go over there and interrupt a little bit. So I went over there, interrupted. And this is when it gets so funny because lesbians love to let you know when they're a lesbian, right?
No.
Her phone comes back from the back up, right? And she's like, oh my God, this is my ex-girlfriend's number. It has to get off of my phone.
No. Okay.
And this is my ex-girlfriend. So I'm like, all right, cool. Shorty wanted me to know that she was gay. Cool. I mean, let her slide. So I sit there, we talk, or whatever the case may be. We all chopping it up. Now she rebacks up her phone. Her phone comes on again. The girl who's helping her, Megan, who's my coworker, she's like, oh my God, you're so cool, blah, blah, blah. Let me take your Instagram. Now I'm standing there. And she's like, I'll take your Instagram since your phone is still like coming on. And I'll give your Instagram to Paula. And I'm like, girl, I don't want this. And my homegirl was like, chill, got it, don't worry. All right.
Yo.
So after that, we started talking. She left actually. And I hit up with her DM. And I was like, hope you get home safe, whatever the case may be. And then she went shut up from there.
That's exactly what happened. So no, I was not hinting. Just to clear the record, I was not hinting.
So how do you guys actually work through your differences?
I think we talk about this all the time. I think what helps us, right? We can't speak for everybody else, but what pretty much helps us is that we have very complicated conversations. For instance, right, we have to recognize a lot of the times when emotionally we're not there with each other, physically when we're not there with each other, mentally when we're not there with each other. Because I think we both have very different perspectives on love languages, because a lot of people identify love languages. And it was really hard for us at first to kind of figure out one another's love language, pretty much.
Yeah, we had the difficult conversations.
Yeah, we have to have those difficult conversations to kind of figure out all right, cool, what's gonna make you happy?
Even down to sexually, what we want sexually, what we want in a partner, how we need to conversate, just all around what we need. We really just have those conversations.
I want to kind of take a step back and I want to ask you guys, what's your coming out story?
What's your story?
Well, my story, I guess I'm gonna start when I was young. Because, it's not a cliche. It's not like, oh, I knew when I was young. I kind of did, though. I low-key did. So, at first, my family is very religious. So, I was really scared. So, I would ask little questions like, what happens if, you're gay or anything like that. And everything was you going to hell. Everything was like, you're going to hell, whatever the case was. So, I was very, scared. As I got older, and I went off to college and stuff, I kind of told my mom, literally my mom was in the bathroom and I was in the bathroom and I was like, Mom, I gotta tell you something. And then she was like, what happened? And then I was like, I'm gay. And then my mom was just like, okay, I knew that already. So my mom knew. The rest of my family didn't take it too well when I came out and I had my first girlfriend and everything. They had their comments. They were like, oh, this is bad, take this down, things like that. But I really didn't care because I was just like, my mom accepts me. So it's pretty okay after that. I didn't really have too much of a bad experience, but it was still kind of hard.
Mine was kind of like everybody already knew type thing. My mom's not a very confrontational person. She's not an upfront person. She would never be like, oh, are you a lesbian? That was never the conversation. So it was one day, I had to be 16, 17 years old. And I had walked in to ask my mom for money or something like that. And I had a whole fit on. And I sat down on the bed because she was on a computer doing something. And I was like, I need some bread to go out or whatever. And she was like, she turned and looked at me kind of funny. She's like, you just like a boy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so what? She's like, do you know that makes you look like like, or makes the perception that you like girls. And I was like, all right, cool, you know, maybe I do. So I never like really like came out to like, it was like, yeah, I am type of thing, but she kind of already knew. My mom, like I said, she's not a confrontational. Yeah, she's not like a confrontational person, though. She ain't gonna be like, well, you can't do that. My mom just kind of like, she just kind of like shrugged it off. I was like, all right, cool, well, here you go, do your thing, type thing. My family was like super. They were very accepting of it. Like my family never like bashed me. They ain't never turned cold shoulder onto me, nothing like that. So like my story was kind of light. Like it wasn't, because I was always a tomboy. I was never like super girly or nothing like that. So I'm pretty sure they already knew.
They knew. So they was know.
Oh, they.
What have been the most influential experiences in your life?
I never had anybody to really look up to, so I can't even be like, I'm heavily influenced. Mm-hmm. I literally had to be my own influence, not trying to sound vain or anything like that, but I'm literally breaking a lot of generational curses with my family. Like I'm the first person to come out and be like, I'm a lesbian. I'm the first person to graduate since my grandmother. I'm the first person that graduated college. I'm the first person to have their own business. I'm the first person at a young age to have their own apartment. It's just, so I never had no one to look up to, like, you know, idolize or like, oh yes, I want to be like them. It was literally, I had to strive myself to get it myself. So
that's good. Influential turning point in my life, I didn't go front. And I feel like everybody has been this in their life. It's literally being dead broke. That is such an influential part in somebody's life that I don't think people like to recognize or people like to say, because it's, you know, some people might just be shy about it. You know, some people might not even want to talk about it. But when I tell you I was dead broke at the age of between 24 and 25, where I was like waking up, no money in my account. And it was literally not too long ago, summer 2017, that everything had changed. I was in like almost $15,000 of debt. Literally had no bread in my account. And by the higher power, I ended up copping 2 well-paying jobs, like one salary, one another part-time, that literally I had so much money that I owed, and I had to do a debt consolidation to where I couldn't use not one card. I couldn't take out no type of credit, no nothing. I was down to the bottom. And when I tell you I paid off my debt, I had 11 months left to pay off my debt, and I did that in 11 weeks. When you are dead broke, things will come to you like no other.
Like sink or swim.
Yo, it really is. It comes to it like sink or swim. And I was at the water was at my neck. I ain't even gonna hold you. And it came in so fast. And when I tell you I was so happy to pay off all that debt and to like be debt free and be able to like then take trips, buy whatever I want to buy without having to look at my account, save money, and not look at anything. That had to be the most influential part of my life, because I was like, I was down to the wire. I was like, I can't do this. I thought I was gonna die.
What's the most difficult thing that has ever happened to you, and how did you deal with it?
I said I was gonna skip this one.
I
gotta decide this moment. I would say it would be, the difficult part is I have really bad anxiety, depression, and I was at a point in my life where I felt like I didn't have anybody. Like I was very, very depressed. Moral of the story is I overdosed. I was in the hospital for a few days, maybe a week. I was on suicidal watch and everything. Like it was really, really bad for me. And I would think that would be my lowest point. Like where I was just like, I was done. Like it was really bad. Like I was like cutting myself. I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. So that was it. But I overcame it, of course. Like as I got older, I still struggle with it. It's not like, you know, I got over it. It's more of like how I'm gonna manage myself now. Like I need to know what's my triggers, what's not my triggers, what situation I can and cannot be in. You just gotta really know yourself. So I feel like that's mine. Yeah.
What do you want your legacy to be left on earth? What's your purpose? Why?
That's a good question. I think it's this right here. Like literally like the brand Elite, breaking the stigma of lesbian women. Because I think growing up, and especially back then, I'm a little older, you know, than she is. But right. I think back then we had a lot of labels, right? You had your AG, your immigrants. That was like super common. But I also felt like the things that they did, or the activities that they also included themselves and was very stigmatized as well. It was really, it was like categorized almost. I feel like outlets like this, doing an interview, allowing our community to see us, talk about different things, be very vocal about certain situations and just being honest. I think this is the purpose of what I'm here for. To basically break barriers in certain industries, be able to see different relationships being built with different type of people, because, especially being in a world where I'm surrounded around nothing but men, straight men, who, it's, of course, being in the dealership world, being, with auto brokers, being with a Black business at that, you don't see a lot of lesbian women, hopeful lesbian women, where they're taken seriously a lot of times, especially when it comes to business. Once again, against men, sometimes they don't see you as an equal, of course. So I think my purpose is to be able to show that us being in the LGBTQ community, we can break those barriers and do more. I think that's my purpose. So everybody can watch and see that.
So what are your dreams for the future together? Where do you guys see yourselves? So we spoke about businesses and your jobs and etc. But what do you guys see with the future?
What do you think?
No. Of course,
us.
I'm married. Of course, I'm married. She got another year with me because I'm not about to be a girlfriend for 5 years. Like a ring, okay? So I just want to be real, okay? I deserve a ring. Thank you. Considering the child, considering.
Yes.
Maybe. Like literally that 5-year mark, like considering. I don't know. She's carrying.
For sis, stop
She's
it.
carrying. So, I just gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be
First of all, I'm not carrying. Don't believe them.
So if you could write a message to the future generation of the LGBTQ community and put in a time capsule for them to read 20 years from now, what's a statement that you would say to them?
We are the balance to the world. Literally, as being a part of the LGBT community, you have to understand your worth is just as important as any heterosexual, any man, any woman. Like, we are literally the balance to the world, and that you should know that everybody wants to be like us. That's the truth.
I would definitely say be unapologetic, be
absolutely
fearless to everything that you want in the world. Like, don't let anyone stop you from doing it just because of your sexuality.
And don't categorize yourself either. That's so important. It's one thing to be, part of a community, right? You always want to support your own, but don't feel like you need to categorize yourself against other people, especially when it comes to the workforce, when you're in school, when you're amongst other people that's of a different race, a different, ethnicity, whatever the case may be. Just don't feel the need that you need to categorize yourself because of your sexuality as well. Because again, we are the one. We are the balance.
Be you, boo.